Where does yesterday's future, which is already here, meet today's future, which is about to happen, and tomorrow's future, which could be just minutes away? Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where host Bonnie D. Graham asks savvy futurists for their predictions about the tech-driven trends that are shaping our future right now. Here's your host, who will take us into the future of now, Bonnie D. Graham.
That's me. Thank you very much. Let's turn off this wonderful music, and here we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Technology Revolution, fondly referred to as Tech Rev. I'm Bonnie D. Happy to be here. And this is one of my favorite topics. Yes, to the hundreds of people who come on the show every year. I love all of your topics, but we're talking today about one of my very favorites. And Nunaley is here, and she knows the future of art and AI. This is not a bad thing. This is not an evil thing. It is not a terrible thing. We're doing it from a fun and artistic, imaginative, creative, and innovative approach. I have three artists, and I'm going to count myself as the fourth one today. And we're going to talk about, and we're going to show, this is a show and tell, a real show and tell. We're going to show our art. We're going to show examples, talk about some of the prompts, some of the ideation behind them, and what we've created. So let me, first of all, Amy Watson is new to the show. Amy comes with Jason Watson. Nice to see you. Jason, welcome back. Mary, you're on my show, 25 times a year, and I only do 45 shows, so, what can I say? So let me get started here. I always get emotional when I start the show. Still amazing after all these years, isn't it? And hello to Jordan, our engineer today. So here we go. Here's my opening. And I've been told, by the way, recently somebody approached me and told me that there's a website called millionpodcast.com, and they think it's very important for me to announce that this show ranks number 9 on ChatGPT focused podcasts, even though I rarely mention that. It's number 14 on futurist podcasts. It ranks number 24 on prediction podcasts. And we rank a big number 30 on technology podcasts. So, Mary, that's new statistics to me, in addition to being on other lists all over the world. And this person wants me to send them the link to when I announce this on the shows. And it's like, okay, man, that's really cool. So here we go. Here's the opening.
Yay.
Yeah, I know. Today on Technology Revolution, the future of now, AI and art. What's changing and how? Bonnie D live streams and her Scarlett mics glow. Amy, see, the Scarlett mic is supposed to be glowing as pixels and brushes converge on the show. AI or artist, who takes the lead? A prompt, a stroke, both plant the seed. Is a prompt worth 1,000 words or more, as in a picture worth 1,000 words or more? Let's open the canvas, explore, and soar. Jason Watson, Amy Watson, wave everybody, Mary Nunaley too, and Bonnie D, 4 AI artists are in view. We'll share our predictions, our creations, our insights as we blaze, as imagination and tech ignite in new ways. Here we go for each of you. Jason Watson, wave hello. From Puget Sound with skies of gray, where mountains and forests paint the day. Jason's a gamer, creator with visions so bright, bringing stories to life in AI's light. From miniature small to a watercolor stream, his art is a canvas of worlds that dream. Now on a farm with sheep and sun, Jason is crafting new tales. His journey's just begun. Jason, I hope you like that.
That was beautiful.
I'm glad. Amy Watson is here. With music and art from a very young age, Amy's talent and passion jump off the page. Quilting, painting, and coding with flair, a designer of worlds beyond compare. From websites to gaming, Amy follows her heart, blending tech and design into digital art. With Python and colors, she makes her mark, a spark of creation that sometimes glows in the dark. Amy, I hope you like that.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And we got two beautifuls here. We're doing well. Mary. Okay, a fiery lavender dragon with magic to share. In learning and gaming, Mary leads with flair. A master designer with skills so refined, she blends art with tech in ways well-defined. Gamification fuels her creative delight, turning knowledge to play both day and night. From history to pixels, Mary builds and designs, a wizard of wisdom where passion aligns. Mary, that was new. What'd you think?
I like it. I'm going to have to change that for my LinkedIn bio.
There you go. I'll sell it to you. It's okay.
Okay.
So here we are with Bonnie D and her panelists. The future shines bright as AI reshapes artwork with speed and insight. From business to pleasure, its reach will expand Tune in today, stick around, see artists' imagination firsthand. So, what'd y'all think? Pretty good?
Um,
It was
That was
awesome.
fun.
I'm,
That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm glad. I have to say, mille bisous. That's a thousand kisses to Sylvie, my virtual assistant who helps with the rhymes. We'll just leave it at that, and I'll explain later to Amy because I think Jason and Mary know. So let's spend about a minute since we have a lot of art to show. I want to make sure we get to the visuals here because that's what I promised. So let's go around the table, starting with you, Jason. Welcome back. It's lovely to see you, and you've been on my Cool Dude show too. So yeah, you were one of my first. I think I'm up to 30 cool dudes, by the way, Jason.
Nice.
I think you were number 4. So, Jason, why don't you fill in the blanks? Just give us a little more detail about your background or what you've been up to since you were on the show last. Welcome. I'm putting you on speaker view. Go.
Absolutely. So originally, again, from the Pacific Northwest, I've been in Tennessee for the last 10 years or so. I've been mostly, 15 years or so. I've spent 15 years in design, mostly designing learning and development, and really I'm focused on creating games and creating cool experiences and stories for learners to enjoy. And art has been a part of it, and it's been a part of me. Recently, well, not recently, my wife got me into realizing that I can be an artist. I never thought it was possible. And so this has been a new avenue for me. And so I'm really excited to share.
That's lovely. I like that. Amy, you've been summoned.
Oh, yes.
You're the newcomer. Take a little more time. Give us a little more background, and we're just
Sure.
delighted to meet you. Go ahead.
Sure. I had passion for art at a very young age. I love, I quilt, I craft, I've stamped, I've done all the art you could ever dream of. Took 4 years of art in school. Um, so I have a very heavy art background. My dad was a singer-songwriter, musician. So I think the musical world and the art world is just kind of born in me. I use it daily because it inspires me. Anything around me, nature, gardening, I like all things like that. So I
Well,
just
thank
find beauty in everything.
I love that. I love that. On my Read My Lips Cool Conversations with Creatives, I ask people what are their muses? What are their inspirations? And it's hard for people to focus on that. For you, it's easy because you're in the art world. You're in that domain, Amy. But
Mhm.
sometimes I have to say to somebody, when you write a lot of these are authors,
Mhm.
novelists, and I'll say, when you write, do you write indoors or outdoors? Do you have music on? Do you write in a cafe? Do you go to a coffee shop? Do you observe people in a museum? What inspires your characters? And it takes a while before they can really coalesce those thoughts, and you expressed it so beautifully. So thank you very much. Mary, Mary, never contrary. You're here. You weren't supposed to be, but somebody had a power outage and it wasn't you. And you said, "Can I come on the show?" And I said, "Are you kidding me?" Here you are. Mary, is there anything new under the sun about Mary, the Lavender Dragon Lady? Go ahead, give us a minute of update.
Sure. So yeah, there's a few things going on. In addition to my work with learning design and gamification, we've also started offering AI marketing courses and AI training to our local Chamber of Commerce. So that's been a blast, teaching them how to use AI tools for prompting and prompt writing. Um, let's see, in terms of the art world, I just crocheted my very first dress for my daughter. So
Ooh.
that was interesting. Because my model was my son, who is not quite the same shape. So her arms were too long and the neck was too low, but overall it worked okay.
You are indeed a brave, fiery lavender dragon. What color is the dress? We have to ask.
It was a variegated yarn that was shades of blue and green.
Ooh.
Ooh, very,
Yeah,
very
so
pretty.
it turned, I mean, really pretty. And I told my daughter that, I'll make her a one that is in a lighter weight yarn for the spring and summer if she would like. And then we can edit is not quite the word I think you use when you're fixing clothing, but we can fix the size and the shape of the dress.
Tailor is the word.
That's it. That's it.
Tailoring is
But
the
yeah, her
word.
arms were kind of like mine because I'm short, so I'm used to like, the clothing always like
Oh.
being
Yeah,
too long.
I know. I'm
So
always
she,
turning up sleeves. Go ahead.
yeah, so she had trunk arms on on her dress.
Oh my goodness. Dragon arms. Listen, I remember you, Amy and Mary, you're just bringing me back to thoughts. I think when I was in fifth or sixth grade, we had crafting as part of one of our subjects. We also had a cooking lab in my elementary school on the top
Oh, wow.
floor where we learned how to make, you won't believe this, sukiyaki. We learned how to make it with beef and broccoli, and we had cooking stuff. We had stoves and we had countertops. I can't believe this was sixth grade at PS 98 in Douglaston, Queens, New York. But I remember I sewed my dress for graduation. And I bought an orange plaid, a large plaid, very lightweight fabric, and it was a flared dress. I was very, very little, flared dress with a fitted top, and I had a little black velvet necklace with a little cameo my mom gave me to hang around it. But what I want to tell you, Mary, was I crocheted a skating skirt out of black yarn that had the gold thread wrapped around it. And I had an open loop near the bottom of the skirt. I was doing a lot of ice skating just for fun in those days on Saturdays. I put a black velvet ribbon woven into the opening of this large stitch around it with a bow on it. And that was my skating skirt, and I crocheted it. I just wanted you to know.
That is awesome. Well, and Amy spins, so I'm
Yeah,
Ooh.
still looking forward to seeing some of
I
her
know.
yarn.
The only
I
spinning
have
I
some.
used to do was at the gym and I got dizzy, so we'll leave that one alone. But thank you very much. I want to do the quotes instead of taking a lot of time. I'm just going to read the quote you sent me very briefly and just in a sentence or two tell us what it has to do with your art and AI. So, Jason, your quote was from Doctor Who. Yes, I let him get away with this, Mary. The 12th Doctor, played by Peter Capaldi, who played it from 2013 to 2017. We'll leave it alone. And the quote is, and I watched the clip last night, Jason. Always try to be nice, but never fail to be kind. Jason, what does this have to do with your art talk?
Well, I think that art is emotion and it's all about the ability to connect with someone. And I feel like in my life, and I always try to be nice but I never fail to be kind. And sometimes kindness and niceness are not the same thing. And if you can express that in some way, I think that's very important.
And art can express that, can't it? Our art can say kind things to people or optimistic things to people or just be nice. I like that. It was the final scene of the character as he was dying. I watched it. I've never seen Mary, I've never seen Doctor Who, but this was very interesting. Okay, Amy sent a quote from Andy Bernard, voiced by Ed Holmes, the NBC comedy TV voiced by, I don't know why I said that, played by in The Office. This was on May 13th, 2013. Finale, talk about finals, the episode season 9, episode 2425. And in the clip, I think you sent me, Amy, it's at 45 minutes and 2 seconds. And here is the line. I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you actually left them. Amy, what's this about?
Just thought it was funny. And, I mean, we always say that it's kind of cliche, like, wish I was back in the good old days. You kind of feel that way. Like, I think that with art too, just like if I had known that, but at the same time, it's enjoying the moments. So, yeah.
Appreciate that. Do you remember when people would say, I can't even draw a straight line. Remember that? And
Mhm.
that was the good old days of art. And people say, "Oh, could you draw a picture for me?" I can't
Yeah.
even draw a straight. That's all we used to say. I can't draw. I can't sketch. Well, I can make you a stick figure. Mary, that resonates with you because we have an exercise with you with stick figures. I know today. So I just found that very interesting. Thank you, Amy. Mary sent me a long quote here. I have it in the notes here. Decide to be fine till the end of the week. Make yourself smile because you're alive and that's your job. Then do it again the next week. And this is from season 7, episode 11, called Adventures in Babysitting from Supernatural. Did I get that right, Miss Mary?
You did. Since I am banned from ever mentioning Doctor Who on the show again, thank you, Jason, for taking that for me. So I thought I would go to the other part of the trio, which is, Super Wholock, Supernatural, Doctor Who, and Sherlock. And to me, the quote has a lot of different meanings, but in relationship to art, it's so often we get frustrated and we just give up and we walk away instead of just going, you know what? It's not perfect, but that's okay. It's fine for today. And I'm going to just smile and I'm going to come back and I'm going to look at it the next day or the next week. And maybe it'll be better, or maybe I just trash it and start fresh. And so, just decide to be fine. It's okay if it's not perfect.
I like that. Isn't that the truth about art, though? It's okay if it's not perfect, even if it's not perfect in the eyes of the artist, right? Sometimes it's just okay the way it is. Sometimes that's all we wanted to say at the moment in time, and it can be changed. I had a TV show called Something to Talk About in on Long Island, New York, for many, many years, and I had artists and novelists and painters and sculptors, and I said to a sculptor guest once, How do you know when you're done? Amy, I looked at this woman. I said, How do you know? I think her name was Sylvia. How do you know when it's done? And she said, I just know.
Mhm.
And when I started painting, sometimes I would leave a painting on my counter on my space when I was in Durham, North Carolina, and I would go back to it a couple of times. Or I let it dry, put it away, and I take it out a week, a month, a year later, and say, "Not done with that yet."
Mhm.
You just know, right? That's something. It's a sense. I don't know whether it talks to you, Amy. Does that happen to you ever?
Always happens to me. I'm bad at endings, but I don't like anything to end. I just enjoy the process so much. Sometimes I just leave it. But yeah,
Sometimes,
I
yeah.
have things hanging around for a while.
Me too. Me too. Sometimes I have about 300 paintings here, and they're
Mm.
in all. Mary's been in my house. They're all over the walls, and there are
Oh
some of them in
wow.
the garage, and they're hanging in my office here. I bet 20 in my office, and in the next room, and in the
You need to
hallway.
have a show. You need to do a
Nah,
show.
nobody cares. It's just for me. But thank you very much. I'm going to put them on a website soon, and they're in my local salon. But you'll see some of those in a few minutes. They just sometimes I'll take one out and I'll say, you know what? I think I want to go over that and have pieces of it show through. Uh, uh, a transparency of a paint poured acrylic overlay, and you can see the original
Mhm.
colors and shapes coming through. And that's the statement I want to make. And that could be a year later. So, and sometimes I say, no, this is exactly what I wanted it to be. My quote, by the way, Mary, I've never done a quote, I don't think, not for years on this show, is you ain't seen nothing yet. And that's my quote for you ain't seen nothing yet. I try not to sing, it ruins the show. So I think that's BTO, Bachman Turner Overdrive. You ain't seen nothing yet. Yeah, yeah. Okay, enough singing, Bonnie. Stop that. Now, I want to pick one prediction from each of you just quickly. I've noted a couple of them here I thought were really interesting, and then we'll go to the art show and spend the rest of the time. So, Jason, I'll tell you the prediction. You don't need to look it up. Art will evolve in the next 10 years. The tools are becoming better, and people have better avenues to learn from each other. Jason, I thought this was very interesting. Can you just, oh, one more. A new breed of artists are out there who will use AI art to challenge the status quo of traditional art styles. It's going to be cool. Okay, so either one. Which one you want to talk about, Jason?
Let's talk about the new breed of artists out
I like
there.
that. Go ahead.
I think that there are people out there who didn't know, who don't know that they're artists, but they are. There are
Yes.
things that
Yes.
are prohibitive from them, and the tools that we have access to now, it's just like what I think about in accessibility terms. It's just giving people access to new things. So people who are out there who aren't traditional artists, who don't have the natural eye and the gift, are now being able to look at these different programs, whether it be AI or the new tools that are out there, and it's making it easier for them. I just as you were talking about, I can't draw a straight line. My hands shake. They really do. I didn't think that I could ever do art in any form, shape, or way. And then I walked into a Warhammer store one day and the guy was like, "No, here, let me show you how to do it." And he showed me how to paint and he just made it accessible to me. And so with all of these things that are out there, there are people who don't have the natural gifts or feel like they're prohibited from doing it, that now they think a different way because they haven't been on the scene, and it's going to be very different. We're going to have a different set of eyes in the art scene here soon, and I think it's going to be really nifty.
And exciting. I like nifty too, but exciting is the old-fashioned word. I'll go with that one. Thank you, Jason. Great observation. Amy, I'm looking at your prediction number one, and I think this needs to be said. So I'm going to read it for you. I predict, this is Amy Watson talking, AI will not replace artists, but it will become the quirky assistant that helps you work faster and helps you experiment with new ideas never imagined before. And I think we can extrapolate never imagined to be by that artist or by anyone, perhaps. So, Amy, you want to expand this just a little bit for us, please?
Sure. I think this is probably, I would love this prediction just to be part of every day already because there's a lot of fear out there, I think, with AI art and artists thinking that it takes away from, art or their own. But I think if people would think of it as a tool, we use tools all over the internet, but um, if you have that cool idea, quirky assistant to help you design your next quilt or design a color palette for you that you can use, I mean, I think that'll be awesome. I think
I think
people will
so too.
benefit from it. Yeah.
Exciting. And I like all benefit. Thank you for that. Mary, let's go to your prediction number 3. This is from your last time on the show. I pulled this up and I think it's very appropriate. You say AI will not only automate parts of the creative process, but will inspire new forms of art that might not have been possible without it. We can expect to see emerging art forms that blend traditional methods with AI capabilities, leading to new avenues of, wait for it, human AI collaboration. That's the key word. Mary, talk for a minute.
Sure. So when I wrote this quote, this was before I'd seen some of your art, but your art actually is the perfect example of what this quote represents. And so for those of you that haven't seen it, Bonnie has taken art created with AI prompts, prints it, puts it on, and correct me if I miss a step, but on acrylic, then paints around it and adds beads and baubles and different things. And so it's a combination. It reminds me a lot of, and I'm dating myself now, but when we were kids and we would take silly putty and we would stretch it out and we'd put it on the Sunday comics and we would lift the ink from the Sunday comics and now we have this silly putty of like Snoopy. And then you'd stretch it and play with it and whatever. And so we weren't taking anything away from the Snoopy comic, but we were creating something completely different with this silly kids toy that allowed us to go like, oh, let's get Snoopy. Now let's see if we stretch it out. What does the beagle look like? Or, if we do this. And I think it's that same thing. It's a blend. It's just like when photography first came around and people are like, oh my gosh, it's taking away from the artists. And now photography is considered an art form. And so it's just as Amy was saying, it's learning how to use the tools in a way that best serves your needs, and then opening up avenues to people that maybe can't afford an oil set or acrylics or yarn or something like that. You can go to the public library, you can get a subscription for $20 a month for ChatGPT or pick your favorite tool, and you can learn to do things that might have been out of your reach just a couple years ago.
Thank you. And in minutes, right, Mary? In
Sometimes,
minutes.
sometimes.
Sometimes. Well, I'm going to show some of the genesis of some of the designs I use for the backgrounds, virtual backgrounds on my different shows. And I think you'll see. And thank you for mentioning. I call those, Mary, my art sparks. And what I do is I'll show you, I start with an AI image of something I create with a prompt. And then I print it on a sheet of 8.5 by 11. It's acetate, basically. It's the kind we used to use for slides in a slide projector when you were doing presentations that way. Then I run down the hole to my art studio while the ink is not dry yet, and it dries very, very fast. There's a little bit of color in it, but mostly grays and blacks. And I slap it, I don't slap it, I put it face down on a piece of 12-inch, 12 by 12 white cardstock, which is heavy, and I rub it. And whatever that transfer is, that's like the silly putty transfer, Mary. I rub it, and whatever comes out is almost like a tracing. And then I go to work and paint and fill in my own way with acrylics, with watercolors, with, jewels and plastics and yarn and all kinds of stuff. You'll see it later. Thank you, Mary, for the mention. I appreciate it. I don't know if I started something with this or if other people are doing it, but I've been doing it for a while, and it just gives me great joy. So thank you all for the predictions. Now let's go to the show and tell part of the show. Jason, are you ready? I'm going to hand you over to the share is available, the share button, if you want to go to full screen share with whatever you've got, and let's see your art display. Let's spend about 5 minutes apiece, and then we'll see if we have time for more. So go ahead, Jason.
Sounds good. I wanted to give a little bit of a starting point. I think the use case that we need to think about is using art for play. And so I play Dungeons and Dragons. It's something that I do. I play make believes with my friends, and I wanted to create a story about undead versus dragons, and that really was the basis of it. And the because you always have to fight them in the game, but you never get to align yourself with them. And so I created a couple of different, folks so I can build in my world of this conflict between these undead and dragons and everything in between. So I have Ember here, who is a little familiar that they meet early on in their journey. Um, and we have Grimsley here, who is a different familiar. They meet both of these characters at the same time inside of the campaign, and they have a little conversation, and they get to pick which way they're going to go, who they're going to talk to, what they're going to work towards and work with. And so I was able to look at these and use them as a beginning for my story so that we could go into a path, and they would
Hmm.
walk down this path with their characters. And they would get to this area on the right that you see here, and they would see a little city that would be populated with folks, and all of a sudden, some dragons would appear, some zombies would appear, and you might have some afraid people who are running about, or you might have a scared little boy. He doesn't know what's going on. All of a sudden these people have come um into their area, and they are afraid. And you have some dragons across the top, and you have some like undead sort of things that are happening, and they look freaky, and they don't know what's going on. And the characters are put into this position where they see, hey, I could actually help. I can do something. What do I need to do? What action should I take? How should I explore this experience together? And that's the start of the campaign, for them, so that they can work through it. And I I would not have been able to bring these, sort of things to life myself without having art AI art available to me, with the time and resources that I had. So it was kind of fun to play through it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Those are phenomenal. I don't know what to say. Gorgeous, beautiful, exciting, scary, jumping off the page. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions for Jason?
So Jason, what tools did you use to create these?
So I think I used a majority of these using Midjourney, back when that was a big one, and then I used Token Stamp, which is a website that cuts out and just puts them in a little circle so that I could put them into a tool.
Oh, cool.
Makes it pretty
Thank
simple.
you. Beautiful. Jason, you want to stop sharing?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Oh, those were vibrant and exciting and colorful and wow. Thank you very. How long does it take you can I ask? A lot of people say, how much of the time do you take? How much? Remember in the early days, Mary, you may remember this. I think our other two guests are too young for this. People used to say, oh, if I'm supposed to be on social media, how many minutes a day should I be on LinkedIn for my company? How many minutes should I be on Facebook? And is it going to take up all my time? So the question, Jason, is how much time did it take on average to do one of those?
It was pretty quick for most of these because I was just trying to get a feel. I had a look and a feel, and I had created kind of my prompt so that they would be similar as they were working through them. It's in the same art style and that sort of stuff. And once I had my prompts together, it was pretty easy to kind of look through them and choose. I need a selection of this, and I could just pick a token and go from there. It wasn't that difficult at all. It took me, a couple of hours probably.
I bet it was fun too.
It was fun. It definitely was.
Thank you. Are we allowed to have fun? No kidding. Of course we are. Thank you. Amy Watson, you're up next. You ready to share?
Sure.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm just going to run through a bunch of things and kind of describe what I thought when I created. Let me see. Is it full screen?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. So I'm starting out with some squash. I'm a vegetarian and I need some kind of creative way to look at the recipes that I make, but I'm a visual person too. So I don't know. I just thought I would try some food prompts. And so I wanted to make little magnets to put on the fridge and like have, squash on Mondays. And anyways, that was a different thought. But somebody has a birthday and you have to make a quick birthday gift to send somebody on social media. You can put a prompt in for a birthday for a cute girl that loves cats. Let's see. Oh
Oh,
my,
wait, go back to that one. I want to take a picture, if you don't mind.
no.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, my grandson came over. He's 9, or he was 9. He's 10 now. And we were on ChatGPT and we were writing like a story together and we decided to plug all the story ideas into AI art and create a book for him. So he wanted to ride a bike. He wanted to be a cool 9-year-old at the time that rides a bike and was climbing trees. And we had this cool story and we put pictures to it and we made it like a little digital book.
Oh,
So AI art,
Amy, this is there's so much involved in this picture. Look at the eyes, look at the mouth,
I
look at the
know.
grip on the tree and the position of the body and the
Yeah.
hair and the sunshine. I'm seeing about 12 stories here. Is that what
Oh
you're
yeah.
seeing?
Yeah, for sure. My grandson loved that picture. He thought that looked like him. you know, so it was fun. And he helped me with all the prompts. So it was a fun, like AI art can be fun. You can set and dream up and imagine and create stories and do art that, we couldn't make this picture in an afternoon together, but we were able to do it with these tools and
And remind me, how old is he?
he's 10 now, but he was 9 at the time.
Wow, what an adventure for him to do that with you,
Yeah, it
too.
was so it was a special day
Yeah, go
that
ahead.
to hang out. Um, I have we have border collies, and so I love watercolor. Watercolor's my main painting medium, and so I started to experiment with AI art for watercolors. Just for ideas. I look when I do art, I have to be inspired by something I see, and so I just can't dream up very well a picture, but if I can put it into words and I can get a visual, it won't be exact, but I can recreate it. And you'll see that as I come. I'll show some examples.
Beautiful.
As a website designer for a long time, you always had those buttons you had to make, you
Mm-hmm.
can have AI art to help you create a perfect button, or just things like that. And I've done those for websites. Um, this little kitten, I love cats, and I'm in an artist trading club where we trade cards, artist trading cards. I don't know if you've ever done that, but it's a whole world of little cards that people trade online or through the mail. And
How big are these cards, Amy? What is a card?
they are
I'm
two
looking
and a
at them
half
now.
by 3.5. Here's some that I've done. So,
Okay.
so I may use AI art to look at a picture and get an idea because I have to, I have the idea, but I don't have an example. It's like I can't. So I use that as a way to draw my own little.
So these are actual drawings, and these are
Yeah,
watercolors or pastels or
they're
pencils. What are you using?
watercolors, but they're small. They're only 2 by 3 inches.
They're
They're little
gorgeous.
cards. Yeah. And same thing for the cats. I did little Christmas cats, and from that I came up with this one. So again, I kind of the AI art inspires me to do my own art so that's that. I also use AI art for fabric design. Any of these designs, I was doing a Christmas line of fabric design, and I just love all this fabric.
Amy,
And so I would design kind of a color scheme and prompt it to be different, but all in the same. And then you can get your printed on the fabric.
That's
So
phenomenal.
yeah, so
phenomenal.
you could use, you can scale it, you can tile it. It's tiled background. So,
Amy, what program or what app did you use for these, please?
um, I use Midjourney, I would say most all the time because I've been using Midjourney for probably 3 years
You
since
are
since it
very,
started.
very talented. These are
Yeah, it was fun.
just
Then I
beautiful.
got into coloring books. I wanted to make dogs and fun little, dress ups and just any kind of coloring book. And I had a whole
Aw,
doggy coloring book, and that was
sweet.
fun. And that's my grandson. And in his little book, we made a coloring book too once. He's coloring there with his Aunt Cassie, and
Oh,
they're coloring. So he wanted that. Um, Another button, but this one's just so pretty because I love the dream catchers and that. It can help you create. This was a creation from a prompt that I used of a dress that Jason designed for me in a game, and it was all text-based way back when. And it's flower petals, and I just think I would love to sew a dress like this.
I want that.
Yeah,
I
but wouldn't
can't fit
that
into
be,
it, but I want it. Go ahead.
yeah, but to see it and to visualize it, I think that the AI prompts help me put what I see in my mind onto something where I can, you know, see it.
Gorgeous.
So, yep.
Beautiful.
And let's see here. Also, this is an embroidery done and it's all AI. And I mean, I prompted, I probably went through 10 images before I found one that I really liked. And I love this. So I would like
So
to.
is this real embroidery? This is yarn we're looking at?
No, this is AI art.
What?
Yes.
What?
But I could use that and create that myself.
What?
Yeah.
I feel, Mary and Jason, don't you feel like you're looking at actual thread
Yes.
yarn?
Yeah, I
Yes.
was thinking it was done on an embroidery machine.
Yeah. It
Me
does
too.
Pretty
look
cool.
beautiful.
Wow. Go ahead, Amy.
But I think it's, yeah, pretty cool. Back with the fabric. This is another tiled piece where you could put this on fabric, or you could put it on wallpaper, or you could put it on anything you want. And I have a lot of fabric because I am a quilter. And there's that you're designing a quilt and you have that one as an artist, you want that certain fabric, or you want that certain
Brilliant.
color, or you want that certain piece of flowing fabric to
Love the
match your quilt.
hearts on this one. The hearts and the flowers.
Yes. And you just can't find that in a fabric store walking in
No
sometimes.
kidding.
So
So
if
then,
you,
Amy, do you
Mhm.
send this somewhere to get printed on the fabric?
Yeah, yep, like spoon flower.
Oh, wow.
They screen print right onto whatever kind of fabric you want. You could have, cotton or, I mean, any nylon, any kind of fabric you'd like. Yep.
Wow.
You can get it made into wallpaper. I think some of this would be fun for like wallpaper. But I spent a lot of time designing just different fabrics to get printed to make quilts from.
You are an
Here's a
adventure,
tiled one.
Amy. You
Yeah.
are an adventure.
I
That's a
have
compliment,
many
dear.
ideas. Thank you. I love this. I think this would be really pretty as wallpaper.
Beautiful.
And then
Oh,
my little puppy. Yeah,
Adorable.
I have a black and white border collie, so
Thank you. Oh,
I like
gorgeous.
this. This is for
wow.
dreams, I think,
Yes.
you know. And
So many stories in there.
yep, this
More
is
embroidery.
yeah, this is actually my logo for my website. It's willowthread.com. So
Beautiful.
I use that one as I love
Oh,
this.
wow.
I've never done oil painting. I'm just strictly watercolor or acrylic. And I feel like if I was to try oil painting, I would want to,
Yep.
replicate something like this because I don't
We
know.
can see the texture.
Hmm.
Yes.
We can
Yes.
see. I'm looking at the clock. We want to make sure we have time for Mary
Yeah.
and a little bit for me.
Yep.
So just a couple more.
Yep.
Amy, you
That's
need your
it.
own show, dear. You need your own.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So,
I could, yeah. There's a lot. And we made stickers. I've made stickers and yeah, you can do a lot with it. So it's fun.
Amy, you are an experience. You are
Yeah.
you are a treasure. This is just
Hmm.
Yeah.
She sure is.
amazing. We've
Yeah. Oh,
yes,
I agree.
we've had a lot of artists on the show, haven't we, Mary?
We
And
have, but
this is
this
some of
is,
the most this is some of the most wow-filled examples Mary, you
Yeah.
too, I've seen.
yeah, I was going to say, this is like mine is nothing compared to this. You should just let her keep going and
It's
forget about me.
different,
I know.
Mary. It's different. We're all
It is
different. Come
different.
on, no bowing out here.
I kept mine short because I know she'd be awesome.
Amy, thank you. Amy, that was
Yes.
beyond, above and beyond. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. We
I,
we have to do more together if you'd like to
Mm.
come back. We
she
have
should
to.
be one of your creatives or a
Mm.
cool gal,
Oh, I'm going to
cool
get her on
dame.
Two Saucy Dames. Yes, we're going to be saucy if you'd like to. Yeah, Jason was on Cool Dude. You're going to, Mary, let's go. I'm looking at the clock here. We got 17 minutes left and I need about 4 minutes for mine. So, Mary, go ahead. Your turn.
All right, let's see. Am I sharing the right thing?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Okay,
May want
so,
to do the other one. You're showing your PowerPoint viewer.
oh, am I showing the wrong screen?
Oh, okay.
Do I want to share this screen, Jason?
That's it. That's the
That's
All
it.
one.
right, there we go.
Go ahead, Mary.
All right, so
Plenty of time.
action figure prompt. This is my first ever viral LinkedIn prompt based on a prompt that was shared in Jonathan Mast's AI for Entrepreneur group.
And who
And
is Jonathan Mass? Tell
so
people.
Jonathan Mast is a marketer and an AI wizard. So he's done marketing for years and he's moved into the AI world for the last several years. He's just an exceptionally good trainer and knows his stuff. So in his group, somebody shared a prompt that they had done for their wife, who's a realtor. So I went and I changed it a little bit to fit me. So it's like I wanted to say learning designer. She's average size. My face, I'm not 100% pleased with my face, but this was all done from
That's
just
cute.
a headshot. So the headshot that's on the promo piece for this show is the headshot that's the only piece that ChatGPT 4o, their new create image tool, used to create all of this. But what really got me is like the hands are right, the words are spelled correctly, and it looks really good. So this is like all over LinkedIn right now, and it's a whole lot of fun to see what people are creating. But then I did one for a client. So tweak the prompt just a little bit. The part that's really cool though is I did not even say what company the CEO was from, and it pulled the brand colors. So I was really impressed with that. Then I did one on Flux Laura that I'm not going to share here. Flux Laura has been trained with my image, but while ChatGPT gave me about the size that I really am in real life, Flux Laura shaved off about 60 pounds, took off about 30 years, and doesn't know how to spell. So I left that one out of the mix. The other thing I've been doing is I subscribe to the AI Art Daily, which every day you get an art prompt, three different variations, but then also an explanation of how the prompt was created and what each element means. And unlike Amy, I'm not a super visual person. I'm more of I listen, but I don't see. Um, so this really helps me think of how to do things in a different way. So what I did here was a little experiment, and I took the same prompt and using Night Cafe Studio, I used
Mm-hmm.
Dream Shaper XL. This is clearly not a stick figure, even though the prompt says stick figure. And the reason I did that is I want to show people that just because you use the prompt, it's also going to vary on the tool that you use. So then I used Flux Shell, which is the kind of abbreviated version of Flux. It's a little faster, but it's closer. And I like the fact that we've got a little notebook in here. Then I used Google Imagen. So we got my stick figure here. And these aren't really what I would call stick figures in the background, but not too bad. And then we have Stick Figure Land. This was done with ChatGPT 4.0, the new create image feature that just rolled out last week. So out of all four, I think this one came the closest, but I wanted to do like my scientific testing, and the prompt stayed the same throughout each tool. And the reason for that is that when we get frustrated, sometimes it's the tool and not the prompt. And so you have to
Mm-hmm.
try different things to see what's happening.
Yep.
So just for kicks and giggles, this is a little longer than what I had originally sent you. I also have been having some fun using um,
Oh,
working on little minifigs and the ideas for minifigs because Ken and I love playing Lego. So create an image in the style of a Lego minifig. The character should be a balding, white-haired man in a science lab. So this was done with Ideogram. Then I did it with Ideogram 2.0, which is a little better. But then I went over and used the newest one of the four models on Night Cafe, which to animate. And so then I animated.
ah,
Mm.
looks like a little Weeble.
Yeah, it does. And then the last one I did was I did not do it with Chat GPT, but the last one I did used Google Imagen 3.0, so the newer version of the Google Image Creator, still using Kling. And so this one didn't do as much as the other one. This one is just kind of more of a pan, but I didn't change the prompt. I literally just hit
Hmm.
the animate button, and I could have gone in and given it more detail in the prompt, like a close up, or you want him to lift the Erlenmeyer flask or something like that. I'm just testing some of these animation tools to see what they do and how they work before I really dive in and spend a whole bunch of credits animating stuff. So that's what I've been working on in the last couple weeks.
Thank you, Mary. Fascinating. I love the scientific approach. Very, very interesting. These little Weeble characters are really something else. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I've prepared a PowerPoint of some of my attempts here, and let me see if I can get it open on my desktop here. And come on, you. There we go. And I'm going to do a share, and let's see if this works. So share screen, desktop one. Let's see. Let me hide my notes here on my other screen. Can you see my screen? Can you see this? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with slide number one, and this is for my prompts for getting a microphone into, this is for this show, Technology Revolution. I said, give me a gold and red microphone and a crystal ball. And these are the iterations of what I created here. I'm not going to go to full screen. I think it's okay. So these are the iterations of what I did. And let me go to the next one, and you'll see now it's getting more crystal ball-like and more ethereal, right? Jason and Amy and
Mm-hmm.
Mary. And then I finally ended up with this crystal ball predictions gold and red. and a red microphone with bright stars in a sky abstract. And these are some of this is what the filter I used was vector fractal. I didn't put this in, it did. Wave function, Zentangle, 3D shading. So that was the second page of iteration. Then we're really getting into the crystal ball here. Gold and red inside the ball with bright stars in the sky, same Zentangle 3D shading. Then we had the red microphone with the bright stars, blah, blah, blah. The prompts are similar, but I wasn't happy with it yet. So this is 3 of 4. And then we got to here. So the crystal ball, here we go. Similar prompts, as you can see. And then this is the one I chose. I went into Photoshop and I took an image of myself and I superimposed it. And the strangest thing happened. It became almost three-dimensional, but transparent. Jason, can you see that? And Amy? I did not do that on purpose. It happened. I looked at it and I jumped out of my chair and I said, what's going on here? How did I get to be this semi-transparent floating image? I put myself into the crystal ball, left the microphone, which looks like it's right at my lips, and then I turned this into a promo for the show. As you can see, this is for the crystal ball predictions at the end of the year, Technology Revolution, Crystal Ball AI Prediction Special, and that's the logo that I used. What do you think? Pretty cool?
It's
Awesome.
so
Very
cool.
cool.
Thank you. And I'm not nearly as artful as any of you. So let's go to the next one. This was just for what you see today behind me. Left side, I try to get it to go. I use Night Cafe Studio. I don't use Midjourney. And I have like 1,200 credits because I get them they used to give morning and night. Now it's just in the afternoon. You get 5 credits a day and I haven't used much. So I was trying to get this idea of a microphone inside an hourglass. But on the left-hand side, you can see it didn't really do much. It's got all these little chips and flakes and all of that. And this went into a post-impressionist impasto, not impossible, acrylic painting style with colorful texture paint. Then I went to this red hourglass at an abstract vector fractal. And when I liked what I saw, I went into Photoshop and I put 3 of them side by side. Amy, can you see see the line here? And then I added the banner for the show on top. And I used that. I'm very, very happy with that. So then the next project was for my Read My Lips Cool Conversation show. I decided I wanted to play with microphones and a city and the beach and sand. And these are different iterations of put a red microphone somewhere and lipstick. Okay, so that was the first version, and I just kept playing. I just keep playing, and then we went to, I saw on Night Cafe in one of the galleries, somebody had something, look at the one on the right, mix oil, water, soap, and silver tinsel on a red moonscape. I copied the prompt, and look at the left. I started using the prompt until I got the one on the right. But I added lipstick and a red microphone to all of them. So I kept going until I had something that I really like. And look, Amy, I added, these are puppies. These are my 2 representations of my grand puppies. Amos is the one on the right. They're Labradoodles, Australian Labradoodles. And Jakey he's chocolate more than gray. And these were my iterations of them. And I said, put little pink hearts. And these are doodle puppies dancing on the moon with Valentine hearts. And here I have the lipsticks and the microphone. And this is where it is now. I found this beautiful microphone with the fancy doodads in the background on a sunny sky, on a moonscape. I took a clip of it and I put 3 versions of it into Photoshop, tried to blend the seams, and this is the composite you're seeing here. And then I added the lips. I downloaded a pair of lips free from the web, and I put in the graphics. These are overlay of black and white and black and red text, and this is what I used for the background of that show. Pretty cool?
Love it.
So I built this and here's what Mary was talking about. Okay, so I go into Night Cafe and I say, I want a headshot of a man, 25 years old, smiling, blue eyes, graffiti art, splash art, street art, and those were the prompts, and that was the filter. This is a redheaded woman. You're seeing what they look like when I printed them out pretty much. Pouty, dark red lipstick, blue eyes, black dress, gold earrings, graffiti art. And this one was about, and I put an age in there, blonde hair, curls, blue eyes, smiling. And then here is what I do with them. This is what they look like, framed and these are the painted versions. These are hanging in the local salon where I have my hair done every month. And they saw them and they liked them. And here, there. This is what I call my art spark. So these were all created by me from taking a portrait on Night Cafe that I prompted, printing it out, putting it on the cardstock 12 by 12, rubbing my hand over the back of the film, and then taking some of this is acrylics, paint pours, most of it with a brush. Some of this is watercolors. You can look at the eyes and you could see I bought a palette of fake jewels in different shapes. There's squares and circles and ovals and diamond shapes, and I paste them on for the eyes. Sometimes they're different shapes. You can see how vibrant the eyes are. And then I color in between the lines and I put in background art and I just have fun. And it's like working Amy, it's like my coloring book.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you. And then I frame them. I have inexpensive black frames like you saw in this one. And I have several hanging on the wall here in my office. And they're very pretty, but most of them feature hair, as you can see. And that's why the hair salon really liked them, because it's like, can we do that with well, mostly this clientele doesn't want to look like that. But anyway, so that was what I did. And thank you for letting me share these. Mary, you've never seen the whole collection, have you? Is she
I
still
have never seen the whole correction.
Yeah. What do you think?
I love it. I love it.
Thank you very much. So we've got about 5 minutes left. So let's do, I'm just having a blast speaking with all three of you. This is Mary. Thank you for thinking of us when your client canceled. And Mary said to me, she texted me and said, my client canceled. They have a power outage. Is it okay if I join the show? And I think I wrote yes 1,200 times. Yes, yes, yes. And it came out to be YE and SYE and all kinds of different words. And there you were. I'm going to get ready to share the outro when we're getting ready to. I'm getting ready to go out. Jason, any thoughts you'd like to share with budding artists who think they're not artists, who might want to dabble in something like Dungeons and Dragons or some kind of fantasy game and create their own art? What would you, just a couple of sentences, what have you got for people?
Just give it a try. Pick any of them. Don't spend any money. Try it out. See what you can do. Put in some prompts, learn, and just even if you're sharing and trying to figure out what your character looks like or trying to figure out what you want to make, it's easy to try. It's very accessible.
And it's fun and exciting. Do you ever feel like you're wasting your time, or that you're just spinning your wheels, that things aren't happening the way you want? Do you ever get that feeling? I don't, but do you ever feel that way?
I mean, I feel like I've spun my wheels a lot until I've been able to use some of these tools. Because being able to see and view and, having a partner for ideation, when you're all alone is a beautiful thing.
Beautiful is the word. Amy, briefly, thoughts, inspiration? Go 1 minute, 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Let the AI art inspire. Like, use it as a tool to inspire you to, like you did with your paintings. Let it bring things to life, like into your own art life.
Thank you. Thank you. Because I could not have drawn those faces. I could not have drawn that hair and those. And by the way, I also save candy wrappers. I'm trying to cut back on those, but I have candy with gold foil and interesting, even the lining in a box of cookies or something. Sometimes it's gold, it's silver. I save them. I have boxes of them in my art studio. I turned the sunroom into an art studio. And those were the necklaces. I paste them on with Mod Podge or some kind of a super glue or whatever. And I paste them on and then I put a jewel on them and I create jewelry for my art as well. So having a blast. Thank you. Mary, any thoughts quickly?
Yeah, so quick thought is not everyone's going to like what you do. Not everyone's going to support what you do. But as long as it makes you happy, is not illegal, immoral, or unethical, just keep doing it.
Couldn't have said it better. And Mary, when I started doing the introductory rhyming bios on my shows sometime late last fall, I had some poets on the show and they were horrified that I even mentioned. And when I do my poetry, I belong to a poetry group online. They're all mine, always, never anything AI. But I use this to introduce my guests. And they were so angry with me that they told their friends to hate me, and I got hate mail on YouTube for people who said, what a horrible human being. Amy, it's true. And I started blocking people. Not a lot, but it was enough. And I realized, so I don't call them introductory poetry anymore. I call it rhyming bios but Sylvie is my assistant. I'll tell you all after the show. 1 minute left. Thank you very much. So let's go to the outro here. Let me play the music. And by the way, the music is this my no, that's for something else. The music is, I have an old music from the close here. Let's go to this one and let me play it and I'll tell you later. Here we go.
Where does yesterday's future, which is already here, meet today's future, which is about to happen, and tomorrow's future, which could be just minutes away?
It's the wrong one.
Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now.
There we go.
Are you tired of hearing the future is already here? We are too. That may have been yesterday's future, but today's future hasn't happened yet. Take a deep breath, tune out the hype, the noise, and turn up the volume. Savvy, Art of the Possible technology visionaries talking about how today's innovations right now are shaping every aspect of our real future. We'll laser focus our spotlight on buzzworthy tech like artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, augmented reality, and lots more. Clear your calendar and open your mind for Technology Revolution, the future of now, with the most upbeat host on global radio, Bonnie D. Graham. Listen anywhere, anytime, on any device.
That promo, sorry about that. Apple Music doesn't always want to play the one I click. That promo was created 6 years ago, Mary, and I found it and I did a little editing, taking out the name of the station on it, put it back together again. And we're talking about we're going to laser focus on AI and virtual reality. And I thought this is absolutely perfect. So I want to thank you all. It's time for us to, don't go away, Mary. I know you have to leave in 2 minutes, but let's do a quick debrief. Jordan Henson, thank you for being my engineer today. We're going to say goodbye to social. Bye.